No, this is not clickbait. We are actually talking about this. Honest to God, we're not lying. Because you know what? Things are really upside down in the world of sex. But before we go there, Dennis, let's start with, man, what's happening in your part of the world, man? What's up? Military? Really?
Did you? I didn't hear your question.
I said, really, military? Is that what's going to go on, man? Is that what Trump is up to now?
Hey, that's what I hear, man. That's what I woke up to, or not woke up to. I woke up to more information about it. However, it happened yesterday, so I'm not really. I'm not really sure what's going on. This is the first time. A lot of this is the first time it's ever happened in my lifetime. So, I'm a lot of this is new territory. So. Apparently, he has a lot of special provisions. He can do pretty much whatever he wants with the United States military. However, I don't recall a time. It's certainly not in my lifetime where the military has been called out to actually work against the United States. So our own citizens.
Like we were saying yesterday, the chickens have come home to roost. I mean, you guys have been. I'm sorry. I'm saying you. I know you're a friend. You're a man of the world. Yeah. But I'm still referring to you in general. You guys have been putting military dictators all over the world. Come on, let's see how it feels now.
Hey, listen. I understand what you're saying. I'm just going to say is, it does. I don't think we should be doing that anywhere. So just, I understand our country has done some things. Other countries have done some things as well. So I think at the end of the day, it comes back to what we talked about yesterday, which is that at some point we have to take and say, you know what, we're brothers. Like, get these people out of office, and then it's time for different heads to prevail. And I think really what's going on is I think the world is changing. Regardless of people's belief systems, I think what's happening is I think we're seeing a real clutch. Listen, I mean, the whole "Make America Great Again," that whole line. I mean, first of all, that's not Trump's. That's Ronald Reagan's. When Ronald Reagan said it was. We were coming in the 70s, and we had a bad economic crisis. I do remember as a kid sitting in line. I was a child, so my parents they were in line oftentimes for 3 to 4 hours just to get 10 gallons, or I don't know what the conversion is, but 10 gallons of fuel. So not much, especially back in the 70s when those cars consumed like 6 miles to the gallon. So it was, the coolest part of that is I do remember as a child pulling over. We were in line, and we actually took lawn chairs and ice coolers and a portable barbecue grill, because we knew we were going to be there for hours, and we actually set up and had a picnic. So, like our other family members, we all got in line together, and then we basically had a barbecue in the line waiting to get fuel. So, I think what's happening, you look at the whole "Make America Great Again" concept and that whole line of rhetoric. It is really trying to talk about going back to the 1950s before the current boomers started protesting and everything else. So, that time is gone. That time is gone. The way that things were, listen, 2020 has not gone the way I anticipated. I can assure you of that. So I just think.
But it's not just a Trump mania or the maniac Trump that's happening. There's some crazy stuff happening all over the world, man.
All over the world.
Before we start talking about this topic, one comment needs to be seen here. Love your new hair look, man.
Hey, thank you, Imran. Yes,
well done with the haircut.
I do have a new haircut, and this is my way of protesting taking too much time in the morning on my hair. So and hair products. So and being inconvenienced with having to go get a haircut. So now it just looks good all the time. I can even take a nap and no one will know. So.
You know what? That and you could go cheating and you won't come back with messed up hair.
Yeah, there you go. That's always the benefit and the bright side as well. Sure.
I mean, I threw that in because you know what? That's what we're going to talk about.
Absolutely.
A lot of countries passing strange laws about sex. Now here, okay. So the Belgian health minister puts ban on non-essential sexual activities of persons through your greater and indoor air. Now this news was carried by worldnewsdailyreport.com, and it really went viral. Now here's the thing, Dennis. First of all, it's fake news. It's all right.
Right.
But there's a whole different thread on this news on the internet. Is like, is this really the health minister?
Yeah, well, I will say I think it's interesting that regardless of whether the story's true or not, I believe that probably is the health minister.
Yes.
I'm not going to say, but how much she weighs. I would venture to say she's at least 100 kilograms. So, I question the. That's just very interesting. That's not congruent at all to have a health minister look like that. It would even be better as if you saw her outside like sitting there smoking a bunch of cigarettes or something. So,
but here's the thing: if she's really the health minister, which she is,
yeah,
then you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if that news is real. I'm going to stop at that.
It could be. Yeah, I don't know.
Why would she want people to be having a lot of group sex? I mean, I doubt if she's getting any invites. I mean, know what I mean?
Hey, you know what? There's a. You know what? I don't know, man. I just.
Am I out of line here? Am I out of line here?
Listen, I don't know whether you're out of line or not. I just simply know that there's a theory that people that look like that they're willing to do anything. So possibly. I know several guys. I worked with several guys that targeted women that look like this because they didn't have to work very hard. So,
I mean, okay, I'm gonna go really, really, really racy here. I don't know if racy is the word. I'm gonna go weird here. There's an episode of How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
And where what's the guy's name who's always sleeping with women? And he was doing a count of the number of women he slept with, and he said,
Barney.
"Hey, Barney," and he said, "Fatties don't count."
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Not my words, La. Not my words. I am just quoting.
Yeah. Here, I'm not even joking. I worked with a group of guys, and it's interesting because we're going to be coming up to this a little bit later. But I worked with a group of guys, and they used to call it that they'd go out and go hogging. So I mean that's what that term means.
Now that's out of line. To the hogs.
Yeah, like that. Is
okay, we
yeah.
we're really out of line today, man. What's wrong with us? Gotta hold back. Gotta hold back. Take a deep breath. Both of us. You too, man. Take a deep breath. We're on thin ice. Okay. Well, here's the real problem news, man.
Yeah.
Switzerland, brothels are back in business, but you'll have to stick to safe positions, and threesomes are banned.
Yeah.
I think that's unfair.
Well, here's an interesting thing, and I don't know. I've not been to, I've not been to Amsterdam or to any of these brothels. I know that some of the ones they're addressing these same issues here in the United States because we do have a few legal brothels in the Nevada. I won't say Las Vegas. I think they're actually outside of Vegas, but in Nevada. So, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, this whole thing is just very, very crazy to me. I don't know whether they should be governing this. I don't know if it should be opening back up. We've talked about this in the past, that sex work is work. So, I mean, I guess they need to make a living too. It's a legalized institution in that area. So
they've been fighting for it. They've been saying reopen the brothels. It's
well,
business.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have been saying that. So, I don't know whether that's a good idea or not. I guess the good thing is that, maybe they're I don't know what they're talking about with certain positions and stuff. I don't know.
There is a whole thing about safe positions and stuff. This news is quite detailed. Anybody who's traveling to Switzerland should read if it affects them. Now, here's the problem. Anonymity is being dished because you got to register now.
Ah, okay. And that's interesting because that's even happening in some restaurants and public gathering places here in the United States, that if you want to enter, you have to take and sign in. And I think people are having a real problem with that because they don't want to be tracked. They don't want to be tracked. but yet I don't think it's really for tracking purposes. It's more about like, hey, if there's an outbreak here, we need to be able to get a hold of people. So it is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but is there any way to know whether or not like have there been any outbreaks? I guess that would be the other question: is or can we take and say that any of the outbreaks or rise in cases have come from the brothels? I mean, I would assume it. I would assume so.
Well, he's asking how would you practice social distancing in brothels wearing masks, shields? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think that's probably the only way, and I guess certain positions would accommodate that. You probably wouldn't want to be face to face, so that we'll just leave that to other people's imaginations. Hey, David. Yeah. Hey, listen, man, we've all been there, so we all have a history and a past, man. So good for you.
I'm staying out of this one, man, Dave. Dude,
hey, you know
bro,
what?
I'm not going to poke my nose into this one.
There's a common joke over here in the U.S. and it's that what is it? What's the difference between a moped and a fat chick? Is that you don't want your friends to find out that you ride either of them, right? So.
Oh man, what did we drink? I honest to God, I'm drinking my iced tea. There's nothing else in my drink. Promise you that.
Mine either. I don't drink alcohol, so that's I know for a fact that Tyrell genetics and alcohol don't mix well at all. So I gave that up a long time ago.
Rafia says sounds a bit racy. Oh really, Rafia? You come on, girl, you got a mouth. Okay, this guy's upset. And we have the world's biggest problems here under discussion. It is the world's biggest problem, man.
Yeah.
For God's sake. I mean, really? You doubt that?
I think what I think, and just to Umar, here's the thing: is you can turn on any channel. I mean, you really can't get away from some of the stuff that's going on, and I think that it's sometimes we have to bring a little bit of lightness to the situation, and it's also interesting some of the unintended consequences that are happening. In fact, I just got off of a call and was discussing some of the unintended consequences of coronavirus. So one, I think it's really cool that the environment, a lot of our water areas are more clear and clean than they have been. Our air is certainly cleaner, but at least here in the U.S., we've banned people being able to bring reusable bags and stuff into the supermarket. So once again, we're ramping up our production of plastic, and the stores are insisting that people take all of their groceries and stuff, in plastic. So we're gonna end up having to deal with that again. So no, I don't think that you were upset, Umar. I just think it's a funny topic, and I think it's
funny. Excuse me, how is it funny?
I think it's hysterical.
How's it funny?
I think
Why?
It's absolutely hysterical, just in the fact that this is we have cities burning down, we have people dying, it looks like total calamity in the world, and yet we're worried about whether or not we can have sex. So it's kind of interesting.
Okay, I'm sorry. You called it hysterical and funny. I'm going to stop here. That's really unfair. Can I stop Trump for being a total jerk? Or can I stop Imran Khan from killing thousands of people? I can't. But I can still help people to have safer sex. Circle of influence, man.
Yeah, listen, I don't know. I'm just saying, if people don't know how to have safer sex at this point, then perhaps they need to, consider a different activity.
Oh, come on, really? If they don't, I mean, we still have herpes. We still have herpes is terribly common. AIDS is still happening. So yeah, people are still, I'm sorry, I removed that article. Well, why don't you go ahead and talk about this, what's on the screen, Dennis, it's really up your alley, and let me find that article for you again just now. Something I just shot.
As far as a police inspector, police officer having sex, listen, I dealt with this in the fire department as well. It was a little bit different, I think, because there was an expectation. I think I was very fortunate. I was very fortunate because the public loves firefighters, and so there wasn't a lot of like accusations of abuse of power towards us, and it was really the same thing. There were. Truth be told, in my industry, we didn't. Most people did not lose their careers because of a death or an injury. They lost their careers because of sexual misconduct. So it's a really interesting topic, and I think it's just more salacious when it's a public official that's getting paid by tax money. I mean, who was the guy? Oh gosh, the guy over Fox. He passed away. One of Trump's good friends. Is it Roger Ailes?
Not sure.
Let me look that up. I think it's Roger Ailes. The guy who was running Fox. There's a movie out about him and stuff. Even.
Okay, so
anyway,
while we're doing that, we don't want to bore people here. Quick comment. David says modify the masks. David, please elaborate. Do you have a design in mind? For sakes.
I don't know. This whole thing is honestly like I think the biggest challenge is going to be doing things like kissing and stuff like that, which really I'm not too down with in the first place. So none of this really has any impact on me.
Okay, I'm really slow today. In Singapore, these 6 out of 7 accused have been given bail on very strict conditions. Now, these guys were accused, or are being charged, they're not accused, they're being charged for raping their wives.
Yeah.
Just that they weren't raping their own wives, they were raping each other's wives. What sort of deranged kink is that, man?
I don't know. I read that article, and I don't understand that at all. That just it almost seems like something that some pornography company would be involved in and setting up and trying to film. There just seems like there has to be a little bit more to that story. But regardless, it's disgusting. It's absolutely, completely condescending. It's completely just disgusting the way that these guys are treating their wives. So, to set it up for your own wife to be raped, I don't know what the motivation behind that is. I don't know if it's just for like getting your jollies, or if it's actually maybe they're doing it to like some sort of a punishment. I don't know. The whole thing is very, very strange. So I'm not. I can't even. This is the kind of stuff I just can't even really like comprehend or understand. It's nothing that would even like pop into my mind.
And this thing was ongoing for like 8 years.
Yeah. Very strange.
Now I'm going to say something at the risk of really pissing people off, but you know what? I think the Japanese and the Chinese are really bizarre when it comes to sexuality. Mm. And I'm not using the word bizarre carelessly. They're bizarre. That's the word. They're just bizarre. They do some bizarre stuff. And I guess this falls into that particular category of being bizarre. And strange things happen. But actually, Dennis, what you just talked about, if people still don't know how to do it right, but here it is. Apparently, a lot of people are asking this question, and this is on BBC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's actually a comedian. There's a comedian here in the United States. His name is J.P. Sears. He's super funny. He's a long red hair guy, and he just goes around poking fun at stuff, mainly the Enlightenment movement. So him and his wife actually did an episode on how to have safe sex, but they were all in like hazmat suits and that sort of thing. So it was really quite comical. Yeah, I've heard this. I've also heard as long as you do it, like it's okay if you do it not facing one another, wearing a mask and a face shield, not facing one another. Listen, I don't know. Now we're just starting to kind of get into the whole area of like dental dams and, all this other stuff. So I think, where you talk about Singapore and Asia and stuff being weird or bizarre, I personally think I appreciate their openness simply because I feel like here in the U.S. we're a little bit too close-minded where this is concerned. And even though there's strip clubs and sex toy shops and like I can't even. In fact, there's a shop. Not even. I'll have to get some footage of it. There's a shop right up the street from me. It's probably less than 3 miles, and it's called the Castle Boutique, and it simply says "Making Love Better Since 1986." So. And the parking lot is packed, and I don't even understand that, because now you can get everything and anything that you want right off of the internet. Why would you even go into those types of places? So I understand that we have those kind of places. I still think that there's a lot of conservatism where sexual relations are going.
You still need to touch and see how it feels, man. Just like buying lingerie or buying a shirt or a suit. You want to see how it fits. You want to see how it feels. You want to see how it touches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think we should be taking and trying on or seeing how sex toys fit, personally. I mean, that now we're just talking all kinds of nastiness. Hey, I will tell you, speaking of that, there was one guy I knew, I was associated with many years back. The one where I used to get my tattoos, this guy got his whole face tattooed. And he did. He got his whole face tattooed to look like a skeleton. And, the next
Very
time
Mexican,
I saw him, I'm like, hey, he goes, oh, my job's, I said, are you working? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, what do you do? So the only job he could get he was the guy that, held the mop bucket. He's the one guy who worked the mop and stuff at these, at these places where you'd go and watch live nude shows and you could wank while you were watching the show. So you were in a private booth. He was the guy who cleaned out the private booths. So lesson in that,
tough job.
Don't tattoo your face. You're going to limit your employment options.
That's a tough job too, man.
Hey, and I just wanted to take in a real quick touch on this one.
You know what? I had my finger on the very same comment. Come on, Dennis. Let's see it. Let's see it.
I absolutely appreciate that sentiment, and it would have been better if you had taken the LOL out, But no, I was never asked. So there was, one of the things that...
the LOL was that it was actually funny. LOL meant that it was actually funny. So come on, Dennis, let's see it. Come on, let's see it.
Let's see what?
The calendar.
I was never in a calendar. That's my point. I was never asked. There was always way better looking people than me.
I'm going to go with David. He sounds like a sensible, truth-telling man.
All right.
All right, let's have a look at some comments. We have David again commented, have sex create herd immunity. That's one way of looking at it. It would satisfy people like Boris Johnson, Donald Trump, and Imran Khan. It'll make them... Oh, did I just say that? No. I didn't mean that. I mean, they'll achieve the goal of herd immunity.
I think all three of them. I think they all need to have that talk about having 3 ways with each other. I think they pleasure each other enough.
Hey, you're gonna get my ass in trouble, man. You're in America. You got bloody free speech. I didn't say it for the record. Dennis said it. Go find him in Arizona somewhere.
Yeah,
I did not say it. I wasn't a part of it.
We have free speech. That's why the military is being called out on us.
Hey, what was that? Donald Duck removing the priest from the church for a photo op with the Bible. What's that, man?
Yeah. So what my understanding is, and again, you're talking media, so I don't know how much of it's real, but if you look at the footage that was going on, if you look at the live footage that was taking place during that, what it appears is that on the way to that church, that's what they did is they took and they lit those protesters up. So they started tear gassing them. They went in with the batons and the shields and started pushing people. They took horses and were ramming them out of the way. And then the next thing you know, the president was over there taking photo op in front of this church, holding the Bible. And in fact, the interesting thing is there was actually a reporter that asked him, "Oh, is that your Bible?" And his remark was, "It's a Bible."
Yeah.
There you have it. So. It's just to me that whole situation is nothing more than pandering. It's just a perfect example of pandering.
He wanted to look strong because just one day before that he was hiding like a little wuss in the bunker.
Well, that's because these newspapers they literally were referring to him as the bunker bitch.
Oh, jeez.
They were calling
In
him the bunker bitch. And so, here you got this guy that talks
in those
about
words
being
exactly. In those words
that
exactly.
word exactly. That's what the term was. And so then the next thing you know, this is what happened. So that, I mean, again, I don't know all the sequence of events and the chain of events that happened in that. I'm just simply saying that there's always more to meets the eye with these kind of stories. So it's a really interesting situation that we have going on here, and a lot of the religious right wing is even denouncing this whole thing. The cleric or the I don't know, the religious person that runs this church was even denouncing it and saying that we weren't even asked permission for this. Yeah, David, Dog and Pony Show, completely agree. I mean, just completely agree, and it just seemed kind of like, the circus was in town. So it just, terrible, terrible, terrible. And to your comment, everything I saw is that they were demonstrating peacefully until that happened. And so now you're just talking about a whole nother situation where did we really clear people out? Did we really tear gas and clear people out for photo ops? I mean, at some point, again, like I've been saying, it's time for people in the middle to rise up. And like, this is so stupid. Why are we letting politicians like this influence us? Why are we believing anything out of anybody's mouth at this point in time? And I understand wanting to take things at face value, but like at some point you have to go, okay, like all you've done is lie to us. You say one thing today, you say another thing tomorrow. I mean, you look at the whole mask situation. 2 weeks ago, we were protesting getting to come out. We want to open up the economy, and now all of a sudden we have these protests that are going to shut the economy back down. We're not going to get it open. Literally having to take and deal with some of my clients yesterday morning. First thing I dealt with when I woke up was clients whose businesses, private businesses, these are mom and pops. They didn't even qualify for any of the stimulus, and now their businesses are being down because of looting and windows being broken and so forth. So at some point, we just have to say, what is it that we're doing? Like, let's come together as brothers. Let's come together as countrymen, wherever your country is. Let's come together as humans that are sick and tired of being influenced.
No, but you see, the leaders are making every effort to divide and create this chaos. I'm sorry, Dennis, I mean, no offense, but what's happening in the US is insane. I mean, the divide that is being created by the leadership is crazy. And
because
today,
they're not leaders. They're not leaders. They're fucking representatives.
Sure, fine.
Period.
Sure. Just look what happened in your photo op today with Trump in front of the church. He had 5 white people. 1 woman, 4 men, 5 white people. What sort of a freaking signal was that?
Listen,
he was basically saying, screw you.
Hey, we have a lot of police agencies. The police agencies in this country, the law enforcement unions and associations and so forth, they have been saying that the white nationalist movement is on the uprise. It's on the uprise. And now all of a sudden we want to take and declare Antifa. And I'm not saying Antifa is a great organization. I don't even really know much about them. I think a lot of people are operating under that term.
First of all, dude, we are on an international stream. Don't get me into trouble. You have to be politically correct. African Americans shouldn't have looted and plundered. That's his point.
I understand like where you get frustrated and don't know what else to do. I understand that like we've been talking about this nonsense for 50 years and it still doesn't seem to ever get corrected. So is looting? I don't know. I don't think that my understanding is that it really didn't happen until some of these outside groups. I understand that like there was the protesters were sitting in, they were marching and so forth, and then these other groups took advantage and exploited the situation. I don't know whether that's true or not. It seems within the realm of possibility.
Yeah, but Trump is doing nothing to ease it down. Today, what he was saying to the states who can't control it, that I will send the military and solve the problem for you. Really, is this a time for it to be a Democrat versus Republican argument?
Of course, we have an election coming up. Of course it's the time. This is what we do. We have an election coming up in November. And this is why it's just, again, I cannot say this enough. Like, Stop letting other people influence us. We are a smart species. Like, we truly are a smart species. We take the 80% of us. We get up, we go to work. We're the ones that keep the economy going. We're the ones that like mind our own business. I don't know anybody
I'm sorry. We're not an intelligent species. You're defining sheep. If we were intelligent species, we would go back to the basics. We'd go back to the basics, man. Why would
it is going back to the basics of understanding? Why am I going to let some asshole tell me to go attack somebody else? F you.
Because I
don't want to do that.
No, because I think the people think it's my fucking right to take everything, whatever I want. I don't have to work for it. That's not back to the basics. Back to the basics is where you don't need the bloody Louis Vuitton and the stuff you're stealing and looting. You're gonna say fuck it.
Yeah,
man.
but this isn't about having nice stuff.
Yes,
it's not about Louis Vuitton. It is not. This is about making a statement.
All the fighting in the U.S. is being targeted as poor versus rich. Look at the banners.
You know what? I think that the have and the have-nots. I think that's a very reality in the United States. There's become a huge shift in imbalance, and so it's not just about the rioters need a voice, or because it's. I think Dr. King is the one who said that riots are the voice of the unheard. And while I agree with the sentiment of that, at the same time, it's understanding. Back to the basics is understanding that we all pay taxes. Why are we destroying what we're paying for? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense that police are out doing what they're doing. And now, listen, I don't know that police are actually doing more than what they've ever done. We're just catching it on film. Now you actually have lawyers and groups and stuff that are telling you what to say, and when you have an encounter with them, and also I just want to say, there's a friend of mine and a couple of friends of mine, and they're afraid for their children. They're afraid for their male children, and having to instruct them on make sure that you keep your hands on the wheel, make sure that you don't make any sudden moves. This is how you talk to police officers. I didn't have to instruct my kids on that, not a bit. So, at some point, we have to stop listening to what other people are telling us to do. It's no different than the asshole yesterday. It was going, you don't need to wear a mask in your car, and you don't need to insert yourself into my fucking business. Enough. Tone it down.
But when the leaders with a microphone and a TV camera go against the common good, then you're really fucked, man. It's their business to be in our business, and if they make it their business to fuck us up, then we're screwed. I mean, okay, it's not just happening in America. Boris Johnson, why didn't he change his name? His initials are BJ. What the shit were his parents thinking? He's going to initial himself all his life as BJ. I mean, his fucking door says BJ.
I don't know, man. I
guess his parents hated him too, man.
I'm more concerned about his policies other than his name being a BJ. I think.
I was talking about his policy, but then when I said, Trump and Boris, I was like, shit, BJ, and it came to my mind. So anyway, screw that. But these people, okay, here, I'm gonna take a few comments, man. Now, Rafi says, how many people does it take to fuck up a country? Just one. It takes one man on the top to fuck up a whole country, not just a country, many countries. Just one idiot. Imran says, never saw this face of Dennis Harrell. Hey, you should have seen us yesterday, man. This is nothing. We actually chilled today.
Yeah, man. This is my chill pill.
Yeah, this dog and pony show is just to divert attention from the U.S.'s sinking economy and failure. Thank you very much. Yes, and that's exactly what's happening in Pakistan. And they've screwed up the economy. I call him Trump 3. Trump 3 has screwed up the economy completely, really made a mess of the coronavirus handling. And so he's going after the opposition. He's making stupid statements, opening up and going crazy, just a diversion.
So my question to you, Faisal, is instead of looking at everything that the U.S. is doing, my question is why the F is everybody still relying, hanging on every word? Other countries, man, When is it? When are they like? Look at what China has done. Look at what is happening, in that now the U.S. dollar is not even on the stock exchange over in China, right? And they're taking and shutting more stuff down. We're having all this issue with whatever's going on in Hong Kong. And truthfully, I'm not that educated on that situation. I just know that like our Department of State, they're coming out and saying all this stuff about China. And now once again, like who's going to pay for that? I'm going to pay for that because I have to pay the tariffs. I'm not going to be able to find certain things, and this country doesn't produce anything. So like many other countries, we don't produce it. We've outsourced it all. And so, and I'm not, this isn't a conversation about that, but what am I supposed to do now? This is, again, it's creating more have-nots and shifting all of the wealth. This is really what people are getting tired of. Listen, I'm just going to come out and say it. If people, it might take a little bit of time. Not all of us were born with the golden spoon in our mouth. I mean, come on. Like Trump couldn't even like keep his businesses out of bankruptcy, and he started out on fucking third base. He couldn't even cross home. He started off on third base. How easy is that? Like the rest of us have to build it from the ground up.
I agree with David, man. I mean, you putting too much responsibility in the people. People, I'm sorry. Majority is fucked up, man. Democracy is fucked up because, I really don't want my life to be controlled by 90% of the people. I mean, these people are fucking electing people like Boris Johnson and Donald Trump and whoever not, and Imran Khan. Mm-hmm. How can people, you're putting too much responsibility on people. You cannot. You need to have strong governments. I'm sorry, like China, like New Zealand or whoever else. They come in, Malaysia, Singapore, say, you know what, screw you, shut up, lockdown. That's the only way people behave and work. That's the only way people can be controlled. If you assume people are going to look at yourself, man. I mean,
you just said it. You just said it. That's the only way that people can be controlled. That's not true at all.
I agree.
That's not true at all. People, like you have people in your country right now. They're in your country right now, and they're hanging on this asshole's every word as if it's truth. Like,
they're not.
Come on. Yes, they are.
Not. The majority is. The majority is. That's the problem.
Well, but that's what we're talking about. It's the same in my country as well. It's kind of like, that we talk about that photo opportunity yesterday. And again, that's pandering. That's pandering to the religious right wing. And now even they're seeing through it. So at some point, it's kind of like, what are we going to do? I mean, I knew a number of people, and I don't want to get into, I don't know anything about the Clinton Foundation and what people's all this bullshit conspiracy theories that they're all up in arms over. But I'm just simply saying is that there was a number of people that voted for Trump. It wasn't a vote for Trump. It was a vote against Hillary. And I know personally several people that, that did that.
Absolutely. They didn't vote him. They voted against her.
Correct. And I think that's what we're setting up to have in this next election as well. And so once again, it's kind of like, the party system. Again, we're talking about a group of people. We talked a little bit about the Make America Great Again. We're simply talking about a group of people that do not want to they're doing everything they can to keep change from happening. And it's happened. There is no getting around it. It has happened. It is occurring every single day. And so to just not accept that and to try to continue to shove a square peg into a round hole is nothing but futility. It's just nonsense. And instead of let's be informed, not influenced. So there's my rant for today.
Trump is diverting everything, talking about the Afghan conflict, talk with Taliban. Well, yes, he's just diverting.
Of course.
Shit.
I mean, we just pulled out of the World Health Organization. Who
well done, man. Well done on that one. Yeah.
Hey, don't congratulate me. I didn't vote for that. I wasn't even contacted. Nobody even asked my freaking opinion about that.
Hey, come on. All your life, you've been accusing every Pakistani for being a Pakistani. So now every American is American.
I've not accused anybody of anything.
You American. You Americans. Look at you, you Americans.
Listen, that's because we've earned our place in the world, man, and that I should be able to go anywhere I want and be treated like royalty.
And what place is that? What place is that, man?
Dude, the world's
You can't
changed.
even wash your ass.
No,
you can't even wash your butt, man.
Here we go. So
we're not going. I'm not. The basics.
Yeah,
it comes down to the bloody basics, man. Yeah.
Amber, listen. I think it's even more than it's more than the 3. But yeah, it's people like this. It's people like this that are literally just setting everything up to be divisive and to take and do whatever it is they want. We're just seeing, I think, a huge power grab going on in the world right now. And we've not even started to talk about, Turkey and all of that, anything that's going on in that region either.
Black Lives Matter is the beginning of the end of it. Oh, forget it, man. Yeah, you wish. He's not going anywhere.
I don't know. I don't know.
Rafi's coming to the floor, man.
Son of his hearts. Well, or maybe he's talking out of the mouth that's given BJ's. I don't know. Flattening the curve. People are still dying from COVID, and he's making bullshit speech about flattening the curve. I want to flatten his face. Rafael Love, I don't know that we should be putting that online. I would not. I would not put that. It was a
user comment.
We have free speech in this country, and I'm just saying I wouldn't put that online because I know there is no free speech. I mean, George W. put that into place right after 9/11. I mean, he sure took advantage of that to make all these FISA warrants and everything else, and the Patriot Act where he can listen in on all of the Americans.
He's not orange face, he's orange head.
Yeah, and what's the deal with that? Like, for real,
Orangutan.
What is the deal with being
orangutan?
Orange?
You remember the whole Bill Maher orangutan thing?
I do not. I don't understand being orange. Why would anybody want to be orange? I guess that's a way that you make yourself different.
Well, Bill Maher had said, I want him to prove that he's not an orangutan's child. So Donald Trump came with his birth certificate and said, I'm going to sue you for defamation.
Ishan, you could be right. I don't know. I think it's anybody's game at this point. I truly do. I think it's anybody's game, and I think what we were talking about. In fact, my wife and I were just talking about this. It seemed like in the past. Yeah, there was always like a little bit of a margin of error on each side. Like, I don't know. Now it's either yes he will or no he won't. The in between just seems to be gone these days. So and in fact, like, I'm just going to come out and say it again. Rise up, middle. I'm tired of being put into a position of having to take and choose a side. Like, I'm so tired of being. Well, are you a Republican or a Democrat? It depends on the candidate. That's what it matters. It depends on the candidate. That's who I vote for, not a particular party. Like, get over yourself. It's so stupid.
So they had this whole thing about Bill Maher calling him an orangutan's child. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry if we said something offensive to anybody. I humbly apologize. Though I don't really give a fuck, but I apologize if I offended you. So yeah, that's it. Any last comments, Dennis?
I don't know that I really have any more comments other than, at some point, like, again, it's important for us to use critical thinking. Use critical thinking and apply it to multiple situations instead of just figuring out a way to continue to find evidence that supports the fucked up narrative that's going on in the first place. So, like, think. We're smarter than we're acting. We are smarter than we're acting. We're a much more intelligent species than what we're acting like. I don't agree with that, and I do think that we are intelligent. We've put people on the moon. We've created all kinds of amazing technology. We are smart. We just allow ourselves to be influenced. So at the end of the day, emotions are nothing more than chemicals, and chemicals and emotions are bullshit. They change. They change all the time. So again, hey, and I do want to just take a minute. So I'm going to plug back to the basics. So if anybody's going to watch tonight, I'm taking a little bit different approach. So it will be a premiere. And so please tune in to Back to the Basics this evening. So in Pakistan, it'll be 7 a.m. in the morning. However, in the United States, it'll be 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I'm actually inviting everybody into my kitchen. And I did my first cooking episode last night. So that's, I'm pretty excited for that and waiting to get some of the feedback. So, part of Back to the Basics is about the way that we, our lifestyle And part of our lifestyle is incorporating a healthy diet that keeps us performing at our optimum.
So when are you going hog hunting? Back to the basics.
Yeah. Listen, I have a hard enough time keeping April happy. So, like, all these guys that want multiple wives and girlfriends and stuff, I have a hard enough time keeping the one I got happy, and I'm not looking for any extracurricular activities at all. So, other than combing my beard.
Come on, man. You guys just don't have it in you. That's what it is. You guys just don't have it in you. I'm sorry. I don't know if this is credible or not.
Yeah, hope and prayers that our world comes alive again soon. Yes, absolutely. Yes, Lord willing.
Our world comes alive again soon. Alive.
Yeah.
Or comes to its fucking senses. Well,
I got
yeah,
you
we need to all. I'm trying to show you something. It's just opening really slow while you're talking about multiple wives, because I think you just don't have it in you. What the fuck is this, man? I don't like comment like this.
So, this is what I don't have in me. Ishan, hey, I appreciate the humor.
Yeah, but what the fuck, man? That's offensive.
That's not offensive to me. Not offensive to me at all. Yeah, you know what? I joke about that kind of stuff. That's something I've joked about in the past. Like, hey, we should be swingers. And I'll tell you, I did that up until, my time as a firefighter. I actually went into... I worked in an area that was kind of well known for people would take part of their house and convert it into like a 50 Shades of Grey sex dungeon. And so, yeah, I saw that quite a bit.
Where was this, man?
It's right here in my town. And so I worked in this area, and that's so I did. I went into, I ran, I don't know, I got called out to probably 4 different situations that they turned out to be sex dungeons. And the one I'll tell you about it without getting off on this topic is it was so foul and disgusting. We got a call for difficulty breathing, and we were told it was a party, and this was probably 12, 15 years ago. We get up to the door, and we just had this like overwhelming like smell, like it just the smell coming out of this house was so overwhelming of sewage. And we took and we knocked on the door. They said, "Oh, come on in," and we were greeted by like people like in G-strings or like naked, and the smell was so overpowering. It was a swingers party. We go inside the door just a little bit, and I got my crew right out of there. I'm like, yeah, you guys get out. This is gross. Because what they had done is they had taken plastic tarps and put it all over in one room, and what they were doing was having a scat party. So, like, they were all covered in feces, doing each other. It was absolutely disgusting. That ruined swinging for me, Ishan. So that kind of took all the fun out of that one. So,
dude, that.
Hey, I'll always one up you with gross. I guarantee I can one up you with gross.
That ruined dinner for me.
Good.
Good.
You know what? Even better. You'll end up doing some intermittent fasting today. So good for your health.
Oh, you're a sick man, and I love you for it, man. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And
thank you so
you know
much.
what? Like last night, even tonight, both of us were really low. For various reasons, the way the world is falling apart. And to be honest, we didn't really want to do tonight's show, but we practice what we preach. We have done shows about you have to show up even if you don't want to. So,
absolutely.
We've been showing up. And the most interesting part is that yesterday we had a lot of fun. We really enjoyed the show. It took a completely different turn. Mm-hmm. And again, tonight, I think, it's been good. And the real reason is all of you people who join us, who watch us, who participate, make comments. A lot of people we recognize regularly. It's really want to thank you for joining us and making it a lot of fun for us, even though when the nights when we don't want to do it, we come in, and it's the reason is we want to make sure we show up, but also we feel that people who watch us, they'll be waiting, so we keep on that commitment. So thank you for keeping us on our commitment.
Absolutely.
And the lesson learned here is you gotta keep showing up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next time. Until tomorrow.
Till next time. And David, you're absolutely correct. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.